Good morning, everybody. It is November 25th, 2023. Looks like we got, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches last night. It's been cold for a while. It's like we should have already had some snow by now. And it finally came. It's just been raining up till now. All right. Let's see how it looks in the old hoop house. Oh, here comes Freya. Come on, Freya. Come on. Sheds snow really good. Always has. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Whew, it's warm in here. All right. So it is all covered up. I'll get it uncovered. Let's see if I can put the camera down. All right, let's do a quick look at what we got going. Over here, there's underneath this straw is carrots that were sowed probably October or so. We've got kale. We've got cover crop growing in here. This is that's Dutch white clover, and there's also medium red in here. And let's see, there is a Brussels sprout, some onions, more kale. These are cauliflowers. Different kind of kale over here. Lots of snow out there. More kale and some cabbage. And then we just got a little bit of gold beets left over from earlier this year. And then on this side, looks like we've got onions going in here. We've got peas in there, but those are kind of more of a cover crop this late in the year. And then this is all arugula right here. There's some spinach here and there and leeks right here, and of course more kale. And yeah, there's just onions kind of throughout. Yeah, those areas aren't getting covered, so you know, the whole hoop house theoretically could look, you know, like this bed does. Yeah, this is just enough for us. We get kale out of this bed probably 4 times a week, even this late in the year. Again, this is November 25th. And yeah, and then also we get rocket or arugula out of this patch right here a couple times a week. And then leeks, we're able to have a couple of leeks a week. There's some leeks over there too. We've been eating them for a while. And there's also back here, there's still some parsnips in the ground. More onions. And these are kind of, these onions have all sort of bolted, but sort of not. It's so late in the year they kind of can't. So, because there's nobody to pollinate. So as we need them, we can just take them out and sort of treat them like green onions. They're really pretty large. On the bottom is a nice bulb you can just cook with. So we can just have fresh onions year round. And then this is strawberry patch. It's doing pretty good. It's just plugging right along. We've had some cold nights. We've been down into double digits. At teens is what I mean. I think we had a reading all the way down to 10. It's been a while. Anyway, parsnips is a big one. Let's see. So you can see how big that shoulder is. It's all the way right there. So it's like probably 2.5 inches across the top. And I planted those a few years ago, and they just keep reseeding. So we've been eating those for a while now too. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do in here. I need to get all these beds cleaned up and prepped and ready for next year, and get more cover crops sown. All right, this has been a while since we did a walk around in the old hoop. That arugula looks pretty good. Let's try one of those. Yeah. Oh yeah. Spicy, buttery. Woo! Got a little spice on it. Go with some steak. All right. Hope you all are having a good snow day. Peace. I just had some of that spicy arugula over there, and I remembered that we also had cilantro in here. Oh yeah, that's delicious. I hope we get some cauliflower. I've never grown any before. I grew some earlier this year. Tried to over here. Their corpses lie over there. Didn't work out. But I've never tried to grow it before, so I just assumed I was not doing it right, or just not able to provide what they needed. And then I had a friend of mine ask me about the heat dome this summer, and I guess I hadn't really thought about it. I usually just I think I just get caught up in trying to give the plants what they need and trying to determine what it is that they need, which this year was a lot of shade. We had the shade cloth off and on a lot this year. But I hadn't really put it in the framework of that, that the heat had killed my cauliflower. I was just thinking I wasn't able to give it what it needed. But it's interesting to think about it, growing food and the effort that you put into it, This time of year, it's pretty obvious what it's worth, There's 6 inches of snow outside, and it's cold out there, and there's a bunch of green in here, a bunch of green food even. And before I raised the sides, it was probably 90. It was uncomfortable in here before I raised the sides. So it's a really nice environment for the plants, and for me. And for you. Not for you. Just a little advertisement for AEA there. Do you want some cilantro? No, it's not for you. But yeah, so it was like, it took a lot of running around for the plants this year. I suppose it was because it was so hot. But I think it's worth it. You know, it's a really nice way to spend the time. And then you also have all this food. And it's just stored in the ground, you know. Like these leeks are just going to be fine, you know. They would, it's actually warm enough. They might prefer it to be a tiny bit warmer than it's been, but they're fine. And of course the kale don't care. And the cabbage, you know, and these things are just, you know, they're not in our refrigerator or anything like that. They're just out here, right? But there's just a lot of food out here. You know, there's a dozen cabbages down there. So, you know, just thinking like it does take, you know, it takes your attention, I guess. I wouldn't say it takes a lot of effort because I don't even know if I notice the effort sometimes. It's just like a really nice place to be. But you do have to do the things. If you don't do the things, you won't have the stuff. So there's that. But a long time ago, I just adopted a strategy of trying to grow a lot of things, learning to grow a lot of things, and then trying, you know, putting them all in the ground every year. Like this was all beets. 3 kinds of beets were in this patch here, which we ate all summer. And you know, that was just a lot of food we didn't have to go get. Like we just grocery shop out here. So, you know, I don't know. Like I think there's a lot of trade-offs, you know, in terms of effort or whatever. But you know, food's one of those funny things that especially food and water, right? Like we can sort of just get used to having them and taking them for granted a little bit. But there are excuse me, there are 2 things that if you don't have them for even a short period of time, you know, there's nothing that's more important to you, right? There's, or there's, you know, like, you know, you won't be thinking about much else until you get, you know, your food or water. And, you know, just for that reason alone, being in touch with where it comes from and how to grow it is, I think it adds a lot of serenity, maybe is a good word for it. So here's the carrots hiding under here. So I planted those under taller plants that we had here earlier this year. There's a parsnip back there. Like I said, I just planted, you know, planted some once and then let them go to seed the next year. And they just pop up everywhere. There's some on the outside of the hoop house. So yeah, I don't know. I don't mind that either. You know, we kind of get the same situation with fennel. It's just sort of perennialized in here. There's one right there. You can see there's a bunch of little fennel sprouts popping up. So we get a big batch of fennel seeds, and then I probably will need to cut that closer to the ground, and then we'll get nicer shoots coming up. I don't know if that's not a very good picture of it, but you know, when I walk around, I'm just always amazed at how much food there is in here, you know, compared to like how much effort I really put in. It's I'm not exactly breaking my neck out here, you know. Anyway, food is important. Water.